definitely not the starters. You're on the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Happy Thursday. Good morning. Welcome onto the End of the Bench on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app, brought to you by Happy State Bank. Alongside Geoff Haxton. You done sweating?
Yeah.
Okay. I was sweating a little bit myself, and I wasn't in-house last night.
Stopped about 2 a.m.
He's Geoff Haxton. I'm Chois Woodman. Lucas White across the way taking care of us as usual. We'd love to have your thoughts, your reaction to what you saw last night. If you were watching Red Raiders and Colonels of Nicholls State. I'm mad at them still, so I'm going to call them State. You can hit us up.
Why are you mad at them?
No, I'm not mad at them. They played well. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions, all of it welcome on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Lots to dive into. We'll talk some hoops, of course, some football. A little bit later, we're going to rank our top 5 Tech football players that are most important to come back next season. So ones you don't want to see in the transfer portal, and ones now this is guys that haven't already announced that they're going somewhere. So ones that are most important to return to the football team next season. We'll get to that a little bit later. Talk a little bowl game, but spend a lot of time on basketball from last night. Hax, I will say that game was unnecessarily stressful. That man, I sit here selfishly, completely acknowledge selfishly. A lot of times in games like that, I'm sitting here dreading the morning after of sitting here having to talk about. I'm like thinking, what in the world? Like, how do you even talk about this one? Is this just a full on panic level show? Is this? I mean, what is this?
It would be. It would be if you didn't have Pop Isaacs.
Yeah, I mean, he comes up huge for you, but you find a way to win. There are obvious holes that have to get patched up on this basketball team, but as most coaches will tell you, you rather learn your lessons, figure some things out in a win rather than a loss. And hopefully that's the case for Texas Tech over the next couple of weeks.
I think it all started with you get there and Jalen Tyson's in a boot, and you're like, okay, it's going to look a lot different today. The thing that I'm most frustrated with is a couple of players that are just not doing anything.
Yeah, agreed.
That, you get these guys expecting them to be the next Davion Warren and Adonis Arms. Mm-hmm. How about we just get in the neighborhood? I mean, give us something, right? And those guys are Damarian Williams and Kerwin Walton. Yep. And that's so Damarian's gone from, he didn't play one game about 3 games ago, I can't remember the exact one, to the guy you throw in to start because of Jalen Tyson. It just kind of shows how thin you are in some areas.
I think that's the thing that's standing out the most is your lack of depth right now on this basketball team. And
trustable depth.
Trustable, yeah. That's just because it feels like you still got talent. It's just that talent's not coming through under the lights.
I tell you what, with Damarian and Kerwin, I just don't see it. And I don't know if we will see it.
Guys who've had success prior to Texas Tech. So it's there. It's just, why isn't it there right now? Because, and I get Gardner Webb's a whole different level
way
of Texas
down there.
Tech, but at the same time, they're playing opponents like Nicholls and
then
other
Kerwin
teams.
Walton led North Carolina in 3-pointers his freshman year, hit 58 of them. You know how many he's hit here? 2.
The Walton thing, and this is without...
And he walked out there and just handed them the ball.
Yep.
You can't play him right now.
The Walton thing, without being close to the situation, but observing from far away, it seems like he's a guy that can't handle tougher coaching that much. Because Roy Williams was a coach that is not known as a tougher coach necessarily. Hubert Davis came in; he's tougher.
Yeah,
didn't do as well last year.
Yeah,
Mark Adams, he's a guy that's going to chew your butt if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So, again, just an observation. Could be completely wrong. Hope he proves me wrong. But you're right. Those two guys, and Damarian Williams got the chance to start last night. Gives you a goose egg points-wise in the first half. And
hit 2 big free throws down the stretch.
He did.
But that was it. How about but on the other side?
Yeah.
You got Lamar Washington who's trying to set a record at the free throw line. It was unbelievable.
I guess he did set some sort of record. What did I see last night?
Hey, he's third on the team in assists and hasn't played near the minutes of Pop and Davion Warren. So you got to give him some credit. I don't know what kind of credit to give him, but being strong and driving and getting fouled and getting to the line, there was a million whistles last night. That was absolutely vital.
Yeah, that was a game. Not a fan. Both ways. The officials made themselves a little bit.
Darren George, Marcus Pettigrew, they're
too known in that game.
They're bigger names in the officiating world, and I think they wanted to cement that.
They did, or at least made their presence known. Lamar Washington,
17 free throws.
First high major player in the last decade to shoot 17-plus free throws with one attempt or less from the field.
Oh, my gosh.
First high major player to shoot 17-plus free throws with just one attempt or less from the field. That's unbelievable. The fact that he shot one basket in the game and went to the line that many times is just crazy.
One thing that may happen and is the Nicholls coach is a good coach.
Mm-hmm. He's going to get a job somewhere else.
Second youngest coach in the NCAA Division I. He's 33 years old.
Yeah.
You could tell he knew what he was doing, and he
had a good game.
He had a great demeanor, and his players played really, really hard for him.
Mm-hmm.
And our guy that had the stock name, remember for any basketball movie, the guy that I was warning you about, 11.
Latrell
Jones.
Latrell Jones.
Latrell Jones.
he's the guy. If you're making
Stock
up a basketball in that movie, he's at least a supporting player, if not the star in that game. Latrell Jones. He.
What was that Adam Sandler movie, Cutting Gems or whatever? Or what was it called?
I don't remember.
Whatever he was.
Fortunately, he got cold at the end because he couldn't miss there for a while.
Well, he started really slow, and then caught fire, and the Hubbard kid caught fire. This is again about putting it together to get yourself right. You didn't have Jalen Tyson. That hurts you on every end of the aspect of the game. But where Nicholls exploited you was just dribble driving and not being able to hand off and switch, and they took a lot of that away with just downhill drives. Mm-hmm. So now in the last two games, you've been exposed for not being able to handle the press, and now you've got that going on. You got a lot to work on.
No doubt about it. Lots to work on. We'll get into the game. Plenty more. Got some headlines for you coming up next on 100.7 The Score.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's time for a few headlines. What you need to know, part of the End of the Bench on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Brought to you as always by Happy State Bank. Alongside Geoff Haxton, I'm Chois Woodman. Hax, let's start off with where we left off. Texas Tech basketball winners last night as the Red Raiders take out Nicholls 78-71. That score, if there's anybody just scrolling across scores, you look at it and be like, oh, Nicholls got a lot closer than people would have guessed. Texas Tech was a 22.5-point favorite yesterday. But if you watched the game, if you paid attention to it, you'd know Nicholls led for the vast majority of this game. The Red Raiders, big number here, Texas Tech held Nicholls with no field goals in their last 4:31 of the ball game. Also held them 2 of 12 from the field down the stretch. And 0 for their last 6 in field goals. So your defense, we talk about the comeback, but the defense finally stepping up a little bit, and Nicholls, quite frankly, just finally missing a few shots was kind of the story at the end of that ball game, and hitting free throws finally, because that didn't happen in the middle part of the game.
Some clanging going on there, a little clang fest.
ultimately you go 63% from the free throw line, but there were moments like
43%.
Yeah, 43%. You're sitting there. The stats from this game are astounding when you look at attempts. Nicholls shot 62 shots in this game compared to 42 for Texas Tech. Red Raiders went 50% from the field, but Nicholls attempted 20 more shots than you. And then on the flip side, Texas Tech attempted 46 free throws while Nicholls only had 17 in the game. Those numbers are just so spread out. And people might look at these numbers and say, home game, home cooking. But if you look at fouls committed nationally, Nicholls is like 330-something in the country coming into the game. So they come in, they foul. I mean, it's what they
reach
do.
And grab.
Yeah, they foul a ton, and that's why I thought you probably didn't see the coach have any issues with the foul calls because he's probably so used to his team fouling a bunch. But, I don't know how many.
They had 3 guys with 4 fouls with like 10 minutes left.
Yeah,
I think 2 of them ended up fouling out.
Yeah. Had. As a matter of fact, of the starters, 2 fouled out. The other 3 had 4 fouls by the end of the game. So they're guys that do foul. Kevin O'Banner, the only to foul out for Texas Tech last night. He finished
had a
the game with
big
20.
shot.
Absolutely. That three-pointer was extremely needed down the stretch. Pop Isaacs was the reason. I mean, you point to reasons you win this game. He is it from an offensive standpoint. 24 points. 5 of 6 from three-point land, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Isaacs, the freshman, comes up massive for you in this game. So, Red Raiders sneak out with a win against Nicholls. Of course, we'll talk about this game quite a bit more as we roll on. This was supposed to be a day, the Thursday, Hex, where we were going to be like, well, you got another win. You're just rolling through this December, kind of waiting for conference play to get here and, figuring out things to talk about on Thursday. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, if good coaches, good teams will use this completely in their favor to know why you should never overlook a team and where you can get better.
So I got an interesting story about Tyson. He'll tell me a whole lot more than anybody else will, which I'm figuring this out now, which I will use to my advantage. He's out there in a boot. Fardaz is on the knee tricycle, and they're out there shooting. I said, Jalen,
knee tricycle.
So what happened? He's like, well, on Saturday in practice, I rolled my ankle. And I said, okay, how you feeling? He's like, I'm fine. He said he felt like he would be back in a week. Then it got interesting. He said, Hacks, $100 a piece. If Fardaz and I both make these threes, you owe us each $100. I said, I don't make as much money as you guys.
Oh, that's funny.
I said, but I'll do $5 a piece. What do you think happened?
They both missed.
They both nailed it. Like it was a layup.
Oh, my gosh.
Fardaz on one foot with one hand.
And then Jalen in a boot.
And then Jalen in a boot. And they both just...
That's funny.
And then turned around and laughed at me. And then Luke Adams said, quit doing this and come over here and support your team. That was pretty funny.
That is pretty good. So Adams did, in the postgame, make it seem like Jalen could have gone if he needed to. At least kind of alluded to that. Like this was more of a precautionary hold him out. Like if this is a conference game, there's probably a better chance he's going. Also said that they expect him to be back for the Eastern Washington game next Tuesday. So very much a rolled ankle type of thing, not a.
All I'm saying is if you're concerned about his health moving forward, I wouldn't be.
Okay. Yeah. That's how Coach Adams indicated it. Some big news nationally. Brittany Griner out from behind bars in Russian prison, as apparently the U.S. has done a prisoner swap here. I mean, this is kind of fresh news, but Griner freed in a U.S.-Russia prisoner
the news
exchange.
of this morning.
Yeah, news of this morning for sure. So the swap made
For the Merchant of Death.
Is that who they gave back?
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Heavy price. Yeah. He's been. This still left behind Paul Whelan, who is an American Marine who's been jailed for nearly 4 years in Russia. Stupidity. I'm sorry, Brittany Griner, you don't deserve to come home if we can't bring our own Marine home for your own actions that you should have been able to avoid. But I'm not going to sit here and say that's a bad thing she's coming back. It's a bad thing she's coming back if you can't get your own Marine home, and that's about the extent I'm going to spend on that. Good for her. She gets to come home. Spent 10 years in prison for something that was 100% avoidable.
I just don't feel like taking a political side this morning. And I think...
Is that political for me wanting
No,
to come home?
No, it's not. But it can be construed...
Sure.
And listen, I'm living through a social media lens, okay, when it comes to this, because that's how I'm taking in all the news on this program. If you take the side of... This is as black and white as it gets.
Right.
Online, if you take the side of great move, then you support Biden. If you say not a great move, then you don't support Biden and you don't like Biden. So I'm going to leave it at this. I'm happy an American citizen is coming home. That's what I'm going to leave it at. The Marine thing bothers the heck out of me, no doubt, but I'm glad she's coming home.
Yeah.
Or she's already in U.S. custody.
You're right that it is a political thing or turns into a political thing, and that's stupid. It's absolutely stupid that me wanting an American soldier to come home becomes political.
It makes you.
But you're right. Everything tilts one way or the other because there's no gooey middle.
That's the lens that I'm seeing.
Yep.
And there are people that I know, and I know their political stances, and I see how they're reacting to this.
Yeah.
And then there are other people I know, see how they. So I don't want to dance in this prism of political crap.
No,
I won't do it.
Prism of political crap. Really bad weed strain.
You're not selling any of that.
No, probably not. I don't know. There's people that eat up the politics quite a bit. Way too much. Anyway, from more basketball last night. Of course, it's freezing up on me. What other Big 12 games did we have last night?
West Virginia, Navy. West Virginia beat Navy.
Yep, 85-64. West Virginia takes out Navy. That was the only other Big 12 conference game. Tonight, we have Iowa State at Iowa.
Okay.
Should be a funnish one. Iowa played Duke in the in the Garden
2 nights ago.
Yeah. So Iowa.
Where's that game at?
Iowa City. So at Iowa. Iowa 4-point favorite, even though
that'll be a war.
Iowa
That'll be
State
good.
is ranked 20th in the country currently. I had forgotten how fast Iowa State started last year. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
they've basically done the same thing this year. Leveled out a little bit in conference play, but still going to be a pretty good basketball team, even without Tyrese Hunter. All right, lots more to get to. A whole lot of comments, questions about the basketball team, a lot directed towards you, Hax. We'll get to some of those. Take a look at the calendar, all of that ahead. It is the end of the bench on 100.7 The Score.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Alongside Geoff Haxton, I'm Chois Woodman. Hanging with you till noon today. We are the End of the Bench on 100.7 The Score and
107thescore.com.
Who's that? Booking? No, that's Booking, yeah.
Booking, yeah.
Expedia.
.com.
Yeah.
.com.
It is so funny. Those things like stick in your head. They're doing their job if they do. They do.
Yep. With it.
We join you today from the First United Bank studio. Appreciate you carving out some time in your morning for us. Hax, I did something dumb yesterday. as you are aware of now. I was looking everywhere for my headphones this morning. So I have headphones and could not find them anywhere. I looked at my desk. I mean, normally I just set them on my desk and go about my business, but pulled them out yesterday. Goodness, there's some demons in you. Not anymore. But
oh my gosh.
I'm like, the last place I haven't checked, because I looked in here, thought I might have left them plugged in, and looked in here, last place I didn't check, the trash can. So if I come down with anthrax or something, it's nice knowing you. I'm wearing these headphones that...
if there's anthrax in the trash can, it's been nice knowing everyone, period, here.
Sure.
We're all gone.
There's a lot of stuff in that trash can. I did my best not to look. I did have to move a banana peel to get my headphones, but that was it. No banana in the ear hole.
That was one of the more interesting things that I've seen. Watching
Clint had nothing to do with this.
No, this wasn't Clint. I know for sure.
That's what I said. That's immediately what I said. I said the same thing.
He thought it was.
I said, did Clint put your headphones in the trash can?
I know for sure. I went and threw stuff away yesterday after the show.
You're always on Chuck for taking the keyword lists.
Yeah,
you just swept your own headphones into the trash can.
My own headphones in the trash can. So no Clint action here that I think of. Coming up in a little bit, got the most mispronounced words of 2022. Which is stupid for me to approach because I'm probably going to mispronounce. I was
going to say we're all going to be
half of them on this list, and then I've got a dog that rivals June.
Oh,
not my own.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
She's been sweet. The puppy has been pretty sweet.
Oh yeah,
she is getting into a little more.
She's got all that room to roam on Woodman Reserve.
Shoot.
So it keeps her temperament level.
She likes socks. She does. So we're having to deal with that, but she's been pretty mild-mannered.
I was trying to go to sleep, insomnia, so I was like, what's the most boring thing I could watch? And so I hit up Frasier, and Frasier was very
Did it work?
Unhappy. No. He was very unhappy with his life and very unsatisfied when some really good things were going on. And the old man, Crane, said, you got all this stuff going on, and Eddie's happy, and all he needs is a sock.
Mm-hmm.
The little dog.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Dogs and socks. Puppies and socks for the most part. I'm not a big Frasier fan either. I think it's a poor man's Seinfeld. No?
I think it's good. I just don't watch it much.
Okay.
I think it's really good.
I don't know. I used to not like Seinfeld, or I didn't not like it.
My parents love it, and so it makes me think of my parents.
Okay.
And they've watched it through.
So I can't really judge it. I haven't watched
problem is, dude,
hardly any of it.
It's on Peacock, and it's got those commercials in it.
Peacock. Good morning. Did it seem like Tech overlooked Nicholls State last night? First text of the day.
I don't think they respected Nicholls at all coming out. And then they watched them play harder than them for probably 3/4 of the game. Got kind of run by in so many instances, and to an instance, these aren't my words. Pop Isaac said it, that they played harder than we did, but we just kept saying we weren't going to lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
And you're lucky to get a victory. Period.
Chris says proud of the guys' fight, or the fight in guys 7 through 10. It shouldn't have been that close, but attacking the basket on offense needs a quick adjustment. Also, what the heck were the refs doing when our guys get football trucked at half court and their drama queen number 13, Mr. Cramped Hamstring, for an extra timeout, gets all the attention when he gets his shot straight blocked?
I mean, he did have to go to the locker room afterwards. I mean,
that was a lot of laying on the court, though. No, he went to the locker room and he didn't shoot the free throws. So I guess, I can't really. Can't really. So the rule on that, help me make sure I'm correct. Mark Adams gets to pick from the other 4 on the floor, correct? That's the rule I've always known. Has that changed?
I thought you could choose anyone on the roster, but
Mark,
that doesn't make any sense.
You as in Mark?
Yes.
Okay. But he's the one that gets to pick who shoots.
He gets to
correct?
pick. And
Okay.
so they chose 20. I don't know if they chose 21 or not, but 21 goes to the line first. Then they say, no. We want 22. And I can see Mark right now holding up two
So it was him.
twos.
That's what I thought.
They wanted the big kid.
And he was a 57%
Littles,
free
to
throw
go
shooter.
shoot the free throws, and then he made them.
And he makes both of them.
Yeah.
So that's how it happens a lot.
But you might be right. I think it is maybe you have to be on the floor.
I think it's
because that doesn't
of the
make any
four
sense.
left on the floor.
If almost every team's got somebody down there that's
Surely.
just there to shoot layups and help with practice.
Right. And you can have
So if you
someone,
go down there and choose Johnny, who hasn't been out on the floor all year long, that doesn't make any sense.
No, because you could choose someone that they're trying to redshirt that's still on the roster
Right.
just in case, and they don't want him to play. So I do think it's the four on the floor, but Snead can probably help us better with that. Hax, do you change how you feel about the importance of Jalen Tyson?
Yeah, I mean it was pretty glaring, right? I think everybody that listens out there know I've kind of swung back and forth on him, and it's pretty glaring too when he goes for 22 against Georgetown and makes it look easy, and then you go out there and you just kind of stumble around all night long. I think it does show the importance of him.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess him being important is also a byproduct of that lack of.
That's what I was going to say.
Offensively.
Does 7 through 10 include? I just don't want to hammer on these guys, but it's hard not to when you know the investment that's been put into them.
Well,
and with the opportunities that have been given to them and how important they need to be for your team. And you're getting zero production.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
I think 7 through 10 in a normal day would include Lamar Washington. So
It's going to now.
yeah. So he got to be proud of that effort from him. He came through big for you in big moments. As you said, Williams knocked down a couple of important free throws down the stretch, but he was.
Does he not look
offensively.
slow to you?
He looks
Slow-footed?
I don't know if it's lost that I feel like where he's just not reacting because it just doesn't look like he's comfortable is what it looks like to me. But I don't know. There's a lot of questions. Last night leaves you with a lot of question marks, and there's a lot of questions still on the chat line. We'll get some of those in a moment. A very quick look at today's calendar now. Senor Haxton will start off today with a birthday on this December 8th. Happy birthday to former Red Raider football player, now 39 years old. This makes me feel a little old. Joe Filani.
Wow.
Joe
Yeah.
was on the staff last year and some previous years. I believe he's moved up to
Wazoo.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah, he's under Eric Morris up there. But Joel Filani. Good dude. Great dude. Loved his time here as coach and a player, and hope to see him back in Lubbock at some point down the road. But happy birthday to him.
Good player.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he is one of those guys in the mid-late 2000s that just lit it up as a receiver for you. You'd love a Joel Filani on your team right now. That kind of receiver that can beat you short, can beat you deep. Other holidays today, it is National Christmas Tree Day. Has yours been erected?
No.
You said you were getting it down, right?
I said that, and I also said it's probably going to be the 15th.
Okay. But has it gotten down from the attic
Nope.
yet? Oh, okay.
It might not happen.
National Lard Day.
The kids and the wife, nobody's brought it up.
No one cares?
So I'm
Okay.
just let it go.
Lard Day. You ever cook with lard?
And I've eaten a lot of stuff that's been cooked with lard.
No.
But I myself, I've never tried it.
Also, National Brownie Day. Brownie?
Would you use lard in brownies?
I don't think so. I think that's probably a bit far. I'll stick with the butter for the brownies. Goodness
You know
gracious.
somebody's going to type in, I've done that.
I'm sure. We're in West Texas. I bet someone. Yeah, we didn't have butter at the house, but we had lard. So Nicki Minaj turns 40 today.
Oh, wow.
Dwight Howard, 37. I feel like those ages should be flipped. He's still in his 30s somehow. It's the end of the bench on 100.7 The Score.
Definitely not the starters. You're on the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
On hour number 2, you're listening to the End of the Bench on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Alongside Geoff Haxton, I'm Chois Woodman. Keep your thoughts coming, your questions, your comments, all of it welcome on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through that 100.7 The Score mobile app and at 107thescore.com. I want to get to some ranking of the best players in the portal. Some of the names you'll know there coming up a little bit later in this hour. Hax, plenty more basketball-wise on the chat line. We'll get to some of that. But someone is asking if we saw this story. I guess it's a story. It's a post on social media of Mississippi State running back Dylan Johnson. Have you seen this?
It flew by my eyes, but I don't have any idea about it.
Okay, so you saw something, but you didn't.
Yes.
You didn't stop and read. So Mississippi State running back Dylan Johnson took quite the shot at Mike Leach on his way out the door. He makes this post. It's just comical to me. He says, first and foremost, I'd like to thank. You're going to have to listen a little bit to hear the kicker here. I'd like to thank God for giving me the opportunity to showcase my talents at the college level. Without him, I am nothing. Secondly, I'd like to thank my family and friends for the endless love and support they have shown me throughout the season. To Mississippi State University, my teammates, trainers, and amazing fans, it has been an honor to participate in this program with you all. Together, you guys have helped me build my character and skills tremendously. With that being said, got to start there.
Here's the catch.
Since I am not very tough and Leach is glad I am leaving, I will be entering my name into the transfer portal with the hopes of finding a more fit playing environment for me. Sorry. Thank you.
Since I'm not tough.
Since I'm not very
Can't
tough
cut it.
and Leach is glad I am leaving. Okay, did I miss something publicly here? Did Leach say that he was glad some guys were
It sounds
leaving?
like he's taking things that are going on
behind
closed
doors. So
behind the scenes.
We haven't really seen this yet in the
I could have
transfer
written
portal
a
part.
heck of one of those after my third semester at Southern Nazarene.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Since
you were going to
the
say your
coach beat
departure from the animal.
I could have done one there too.
Yeah.
Since the coach beat the hell out of me for 2 consecutive days with a fungo bat, I've decided to put my name in the transfer portal.
I thought that was funny, but I don't think he thought it was funny. But he says a nice little screw you on the way out the door.
Since I'm not tough enough.
Since I'm not tough enough. Now, how do you take? I sit here and act like this stuff matters. How do you take that if you're a new team? If you're good enough, he's going to get playing time somewhere, or he's going to get picked up, or he's going to get a giant NIL deal somewhere to go play for them. So I did find it rather comical because we don't get that kind of.
He'll be pushing tough actin to actin.
That's his new NIL deal. Good stuff.
Did you see the guy that's got the last name Hyatt? Got a deal with Hyatt Hotels?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
What was that? Florida State?
Tennessee.
These are Tennessee?
He plays for Tennessee.
There you go.
And he got all his teammates' rooms at the Hyatt for their bowl game.
Let's see. Raiders dad, the Clint Scott, has done a lot of funny and entertaining things. Save Me, Scott Drew may be my favorite. Nah. Michael says, well, now we know why Choice's movie takes are so bad. Clooney, Batman, come on, man. I'm joking. It's not really my favorite. It was growing up.
That was as under the breath as you could do.
Was that the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze?
Dude, I tuned out.
You didn't watch any of those Schwarzenegger as Freeze?
No, I know I did. It's just been so long.
Uma Thurman as the Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy. Mm-hmm.
Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Are those all the same movie? I think they are. Y'all help me out on that. I haven't watched the 90s Batman.
What you're doing right there is you're showing how bad they were because you had to bring in all these different. I mean, the
But as a you
had
8-year-old
Nicholson,
boy,
Keaton, and DeVito
as the Penguin, yeah. But as an 8-year-old boy, all those actors, I loved it. I honestly probably haven't seen it since my childhood.
Yeah, you watched that thing on VHS. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Sooner Lubbock says those turnovers going to be a problem come conference play. I think if there's one thing that you're like, I can fix this about Texas Tech basketball right now. I want to change this the most. It's got to be the turnovers, right? Got to take care of the basketball better on the offensive end. Or is it? Man,
they've shown that they can do it, and then they've shown that they can get, I think, overextended and out of whack and hand the ball to the other side a bunch too. I mean, that consistency, that's the bite that I used in the Red Raider Daily Update today.
Yeah.
From Adams is, I think we're looking more at inconsistency than anything. So, youth and lack of playing real games together is going to be something that you're going to have to overcome, and you're going to have to take care of the ball better.
So it said, unless Fisher started school late, he's like 17 years old, a baby compared to other players at this level. Well, he's a baby because he essentially is a senior in high school right now is what he's supposed to be. So, yes, hopefully, as we were kind of talking about at the end of the last segment, hopefully he has that patience that's fleeting in today's world, not just NIL and not just transfer portal, but in general, there's not much patience that exists. Hopefully he has patience and understanding, and most of that comes from good upbringing or good people in his ear, good people around him, whether that be parents or family or what. If he has that, then there's a good chance you can see an opportunity for the letting the cake bake. But I don't know.
People that have never listened to this show are like, what is that?
But it's an automatic assumption now, right? A guy's not playing. Oh, that guy's going to be in the transfer portal. And maybe even a year ago, you'd be like, well, at the end of the season, it'd be in the transfer portal. Well, not at Tech. You've had plenty of guys go out and in the year. Burnett. We went through the list. Hey, you remembered it. Look at that. Well done.
It only took 7 times.
Now I'm already forgetting the guy from Florida State. Who's that one?
Sadar Calhoun.
Look at you. You're on your game today. After a late night last night, too.
It's that Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. It's helping.
And I have that every day. So,
Bullfighter helps me out. Arnold is Mr. Freeze in the Clooney movie. Riddler's not. So those are 2 different movies. Thank you.
Well, the best thing that came out of that was the roller coaster ride at Six Flags.
That's right.
It's the best thing.
That's a great ride.
Oh, it's a great ride.
And it reverses you. Go back the other direction. Yeah, that for a long time was my favorite coaster. All right, plenty more from the chat line. We'll get to a few more questions.
They're shutting down Splash Mountain, taking out the whole...
Are they really?
South motif. All that's...
Didn't know that. Wow.
Gone.
Plenty more questions for Hax regarding basketball. We'll get to a few more of those in a moment. Hax is going to bring us the highs and lows coming up next on 100.7 The Score.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Questions in. Time for Ask the Benchwarmers. Alongside Geoff Haxton, I'm Chois, Woodman, Jackson, Frazier. Questions for any and all of us are welcome. Yates Flooring Center chat line wide open. We'll take basketball questions or just about any sort of questions on the Yates Flooring Center chat line.
You have 4 Red Raiders on the Dave Campbell's Texas football all-Texas team.
Okay.
Muddy Waters, Austin McNamara, Tyree Wilson, and Krishawn Merriweather. Tyree Wilson, defensive lineman of the year in Texas.
If he doesn't get hurt, I'm wondering, is he Big 12 defensive player of the year? That's 2 whole games where stats diminished a little bit. I think you've got a good chance. It's like, who if this is voted on by the coaches, which I believe it is, who across the field is not looking at Tyree Wilson and saying, we haven't seen anybody better than him this year? I mean, he's gonna be
It's gonna be fun to watch at the next level.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I cannot wait.
Coming off the edge at 6'6".
He is a monster, absolute monster.
The Tech Football account just tweeted that.
Very cool. All right, let's see. A few from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. This was from earlier. How would you pronounce Mike Krzyzewski's name if he wasn't famous?
Krzyzewski.
Krzyzewski. Krzyzewski. I have never understood how you get Krzyzewski out of that. But I don't understand Polish? Is that
Yes.
Polish name? Okay. This question.
That's 2 Poland references in 2 days.
Yeah, impressive. This question from this one's similar to one that was from a little bit earlier, but says, Hax, where would you rank Jalen Tyson on this year's team after seeing him not play last night? I guess importance. They didn't really specify.
Fourth.
Just behind Pop?
Yep.
So you go on Bacho, O'Banner, Pop, Tyson. I think that's the order I would go with right now.
Yep, that's my order.
Because if you think about it, if Bacho gets injured on this team right now, that's a scary thought.
Yeah, let's not even bring that up.
Knocking on all the.
He kind of on that first dunk, he landed a little weird and found himself in the basket support. He disappeared for a minute from our angle.
Yeah,
it's like, where'd he go? It's a big guy to disappear.
Benchwarmers, which
Harmon's way up there though. I
think
and it's more. If you listen to Adams, it's more about his defense, that he's kind of leading the charge when it comes to the defense, and he loves Harmon's defensive capabilities. So
I think I still rank it that way, and Harmon would be fifth. Now, when Fardaws gets in the mix, we'll see.
Well, Harmon's your point guard, and one of Adams says your best defender.
Okay. So are you changing?
Man,
I just feel like from what we've seen this year, what you said was correct. Because Harmon, because there's such similarities between he and Pop, but Pop can score it a little better right now. Yeah, we'll see. We
haven't seen Harmon score the way that I expected him to.
Same here. I don't think he's seeking his shot as much as I would have guessed. I think that's part of it. He's trying to be more of a true point guard. Here's a comment. I am late into the show today, but felt a huge positive on how well Pop played, and Washington was clutch. Yeah, that's a big game for Lamar Washington.
I got a chance to interview Lamar. I really enjoyed it. Kid's got a good attitude.
Is he from Oregon?
He's from Oregon. He had one prep school year in Arizona.
Okay.
But was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Oregon the year before the prep year. So.
Benchwarmers, which player for Tech basketball isn't living up to their expectations?
Kerwin Walton.
But, well, here's the second part to it. But you still think they're going to. Well, I think my answer on that's
Elijah Fisher.
Harmon is where I'd go. Because I set the bar really high for Harmon myself, and I think he's still going to elevate. I'm not trying to bash on
elevate
him,
and celebrate. My guy Mike.
Elijah Fisher, yeah. Elijah Fisher's probably a good answer there, too. Doesn't have to be this year, right? Steven says, if y'all had to choose between... This is a creepy question, but I'm going to read it. Steven asked it. If you had to choose between eating human flesh like the Donner Party or die of starvation, would you eat some human? Disclaimer, went to the Donner Party Museum on vacation. I'm letting you answer this part.
I will abstain from said question.
I think the Have you seen the movie?
I rarely go, this is a sports talk show, but I'm going, this is a
This
sports
is
talk.
a sports talk show. Keep it
Talk some sports.
What's the movie? I'm trying to think of the name.
Alive?
Movie name. Yes, thank you. And I read the book on that before I watched the movie. Miracle in the Andes, I believe, is the book. Is it Miracle in the Andes? That seems like a weird name for that. I think it was well, I mean, it was a miracle that those people stayed alive in those conditions. I think ultimately it's going to keep you. I mean, survival is going to keep you, make you do it.
I can ask y'all a question that turned
do
into a pretty big debate yesterday. Is a grilled cheese, can a grilled cheese have anything in it besides cheese?
Yes.
That was a pretty big debate yesterday.
Because it's a grilled cheese sandwich, but you can still call it a grilled cheese sandwich, adding bacon or
I'm famous for my ham toasters.
a toaster.
Because that's pretty much all Cameron will eat. So
But it's not a grilled cheese?
it's a grilled cheese. Yeah, but I call it a toaster.
Okay.
It's a grilled cheese with ham in it.
But then his question, is it changing from a grilled cheese?
No, it's still a grilled cheese.
Okay.
See, that's what Jamie said, but Clint said it turns it to a ham and cheese sandwich.
No. Not if you, then what if it's bacon? A bacon and cheese sandwich?
Until it's almost lunchtime.
I'm
We've
hungry.
talked about eating flesh, and now
Eating flesh. Going to grilled cheeses. What if you put no? I'm
Nah,
even
you
gonna
don't
not
do
even gonna
that.
Go there.
Don't
not
do
even gonna go there. Too much Dahmer stuff going on nowadays. That's kind of died down.
thank goodness.
Yeah, that was. I don't think I've been more disturbed in watching 20 minutes of television this year than when I watched the first 20 minutes of that first episode. Oh, and so many directions of disturbed too. Ooh. No bueno.
Mm-mm.
Steven said, "Hey, grilled ham and cheese isn't sports," but he put laughing emojis after
Who
that.
said that?
Steven, the guy who
Yeah.
asked the Donner Party question. World Cup winner. You want the most uneducated
Morocco.
guesses at this, then Morocco would be quite the surprise.
Yeah.
You know what?
Amazing story.
I'm going to go for the storyline with Messi getting old in the career. Argentina.
All right, I'm going to go Portugal.
They play Morocco next, right? I think so. I'm pretty sure that in the round of 8 they'll play Morocco. The one I want the least is the two European countries of England or France. Neither of those. Make it a better storyline. That's what I'm rooting for. At this time last year, did we know what Adonis Arms was going to be?
We had an idea. We had a
You saw more
lot of
signs.
positivity. Yeah.
Saw more signs than we've seen out of
How about
other pieces.
contribution? There was at least a
Of any
contribution
sort?
being
Yeah.
made.
Yeah, of any sort.
Right now, you can't play Kerwin. You just can't.
But Adams, I guess, still trying to prop up. Post game last night, he's saying stuff like, "Well, Kerwin's our best shooter. We still got to find a way to get him in." But the actions haven't shown that. If he's the best shooter on the team, is it just lack of defense? Is it hustle? What is it? Attitude? All of the above?
It's going out there and being comatose.
Yeah.
Very little pulse. I mean, it's a game, dude.
And then just,
We've got to get on the floor and hustle and play
Turnover.
hard.
Yeah, turnovers too.
Play hard.
Everybody.
Good things happen when you play hard. Just look at how they came out of the halftime locker room. They made a couple of mistakes, but they were going much harder.
I think as simple as that is, you look at the players that have played the best for you, all have been
They go
great
hard.
hustle players this year.
Bacho plays out of his mind.
Yeah. That's it for the end of the bench. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bottom line's up next.
This has been the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 107thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.